Hey, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Miles?
Going good, but it's hot.
Yeah, it's but guess what? Got a surprise for you. You're in the Philippines. It's hot. It's freaking hot in the Philippines. Hot and humid. Well, today we went to where we go. We went to Robinson's place, which is a mall. I got that all on video, man. It's just a lot of editing to do. And we went to McDonald's. Same thing. And then we went to Save More. Went to Save More. That's a grocery store. Same thing. All right. So I'll dump them in the next couple of days. I'll dump them videos. Other than that, man, it's been a good day. The only problem with the going, we usually take the bus, man. I ain't driving. And everybody, why not?
Why?
Drive, why? Yeah, driving the Philippines and you're like, I ain't driving. I only drive when I have to, when I really have to. Like if we're going a long distance. But the problem with taking the bus, man, it's a flip a coin. Either you get a prison bus or you get the comfort bus. The prison bus is the buses with no air conditioning. Now keep it in mind, it's above 90 degrees and humid. Okay, and they usually go slow. And the seats are probably so uncomfortable. It's almost like sitting on wood, you know. And I'm not young anymore, man. I gotta be comfortable. I want what I want,
Yeah,
and I want to sit in a comfortable seat.
you cannot do anything because that is the only bus. You know already that you seen this morning that there is no more bus for.
I know. You know why? You know why I'm bitching? Because I can. You know, the people listen to it. They're like, "Oh, dude, why are you bitching?" But that's alright. You know, man, I want to say thank you, and I much appreciate to all my subscribers, from the very first subscriber to the very last one, which you're not last, you're a subscriber. It's not a race. I want to thank you all. I appreciate it 100%.
101%.
101%. I really, no, I'm serious, man. I appreciate it. I really do, man. I just appreciate it. But I heard from a friend of mine that I knew, well, on and off for the past
50 years.
32, I'll say 33 years, man. Me and him were stationed together in Scotland, in Dunoon. His name is, I'll just say Stephen B. All right, he'll know who he is. I don't want to give out his full name. The guy we were young, man, back then. We were young. I was 24, 25. I don't remember. I don't know how old Steve was back then, to be honest with you. I know he's only a couple of years younger than me, maybe 4 or 5 years younger than me. And when you get this old, that 4 or 5 years don't mean shit. It don't mean anything. Yeah, man, I know he's living somewhere in Ohio. I know where he's living in Ohio, but that's all I'm going to say. He's living in Ohio. He was a nut, man. I think of all the places I was stationed at, I think Scotland was well, I was there for 4 years, going on 4 years. Was the most enjoyable place to be. The people were great there. In Scotland, they were great.
What did you
Yeah,
do?
you hate your.
What did you do in Scotland?
Well, in the beginning, I drank. I drank a lot. And when we worked at, there was a unit, we were boat operations. We were kind of like, and I think Steve will probably, I don't know, probably agree. We were, well, see, at one time we belonged to the ship, whatever ship was there, it was either the Simon Lake or the Hun Lake, or we belonged to the squadron. There was always this fight between them two, because boat ops were the black sheep of the site. It was Site 1, it was submarine base. And I worked in the ship fitter shop, in the weld shop, HT shop. I think the only one regret I have when I was stationed there was when I converted from HT to DC, damage controlman. Damage controlman is such, and people are going to get upset if they were a damage controlman. It was such a waste of a rate. They were, I'm sorry, but they were lazy, man. Lazy, didn't want to do anything. You know, oh yeah, they didn't want to do anything. I just, the funny thing is and even though I'm not gonna say lied to, I bought it into the sales pitch of being a DC man. Every shop that I worked in after I left there was a weld shop, HT shop. Every shop. DC man was damage control firefighters. It was a waste of a rate. It was such a waste of a rate. They didn't do anything, man. They always whined about shit. I mean, when I went from when I went to Scotland, to my first ship was Lamore County. It was the biggest piece of garbage floating on water. Okay, I was there very first day. The chief calls me into his office. I'm like, man, I've only been here I've only been here for like 2 hours, and he's always want me in his office. Because see, back then, man, you didn't talk to your chief. You never talked to the chief. You always talked to the first class. If you had to talk to the chief, you were in trouble. You did something really bad. You know, he calls me in with the first class and the HT1. And I remember the HT1. I'm not gonna mention it. But and they were saying, why are you a DC man? I was like, I don't know. And he goes, well, looking at your record, you were the LPO as a second class. You ran the HT shop. I was like, well, you know, in reality, no, I didn't. It's the whole, everybody in the HT shop, we were all mature. And when there was work that had to be done, we did it. You know, it wasn't, you had to, in other words, I was the guy who they blamed when something went wrong. That's all I was, you know. But I was like, yeah, whatever. He goes, and the chief was like, why did you convert to DC? And I said, to be honest, chief, and the chief was a DC.
How many years you stayed in Scotland?
Almost 4 years. The site, after the fall of communism, Clinton started shutting bases down, and that was one place to go. Because they thought it wasn't needed anymore because the Cold War was over. When the fall of communism. And what was that? Oh, and he was like, he says, why are you guys doing this? And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, and he says, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I said, what's that, chief? He goes, I can't weld to save my ass. And I looked at him and says, I always worked in the lagging shop, and I said, HT is a lagging? I thought that was like the sheetest move. And he goes, no, some ships, it is HTs and BTs and machinist mates. And he goes, why are you? And I said, I bought it into bullshit, you know. So, but like I said, and it hurt me because it was this. I screwed myself. You know, I screwed myself because I didn't have, you know, as a DC, I wasn't interested. It was the last ship I went to? Dead in my hand. I worked in a DC shop. I was LPO. I was a first class. I was an LPO. And people, man, they were so damn lazy. They were so damn lazy. They didn't want to do anything. DC men, they didn't want to do anything. And I told them, you know, the HTs were the one. I mean, they were working. HTs were always doing something, working. All right. So if the head got backed up, the head is the bathroom. If the toilets or something got backed up, they had to go do that. DC were always sitting on their asses, you know. And I went to the chief, and I said, man, let's do this. I said, who's in charge of the firemen as far as ship's concerned? And he says, the DC man. And the chief was a DC man. He's another one I don't want to talk about. And I said, let one of the DC men start taking care of the yarn, you know, for the unclogging and stuff with toilets and stuff like that. He says, do you know what you're doing? I said, yeah, I'm getting my guys off their ass. They don't do anything. They're lazy. That's not my job subscription. I think they teach that in DCA school. That's not my job subscription. It's like,
it's not if not their job, they don't need to help.
Yeah, they didn't do it. I mean, they wouldn't even, when an HT came in the shop, you know, to get help on something, they would hide. They would hide. That's how lazy they were, man. I never got along with the DC men either. I never got along with that because actually I did more engineering qualification when I was on the, what was I on? I was on an FFG. God, I can't even think of the name of it now. It'll come to me in a little bit. I worked in the log room, and I worked on the EPSI, the control panel for the electrical plant. You know, throwing watches and everything like that. So, you know, I just distanced myself from the DC rate. Like I say, they were boring. DC been boring. I don't know why, but from what I hear, they're doing away with it because they realize it's a waste of a rate. It's a waste of a rate. And most of the guys, well, when I get out of here, I'm gonna be a firefighter. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because the theory of firefighting is on structural fires on land is totally, the theory on it is totally different than from shipboard firefighting. You know? And a lot of them guys on the ship, if a fire broke out, the DC would probably shit all over themselves. Because you got to remember, there's no place to run. You got to put that fire out. You're gonna die. You know, and it was like it's such a waste of weight. I hated it. I did. There was one guy, and Steve B knows who I'm talking about. There was one guy talked me into it. He sugarcoated that rate so bad. Oh well, this, oh well that. I mean, I made first class, boom, boom, boom. But they trying to make cheap, man, because all these people jumped into the DC rate to make cheap. So I always made board, but I never, you know, never got advanced. Cheap. I mean, I had good evals, and most of my evals pertained to working in the HT rate. That's another thing. Even the Chang on my hand, he would say, he told me, he says, man, you in a long rate. I said, tell me about it. I wasted my time. The rate is the job that you do. I wasted my time. Yeah, it was Steve B, man. It was a blast here for him now. He's a good guy. Steve B, he was a good guy. He was funny. Now, I don't know if he's still funny, but he was funny back then.
Steve B?
No, his last name begins with a B, but I'm not going to say it on here. Privacy thing. But, yeah, I know he married, God, I can't remember her name. He married a Scottish girl. As far as the last time I heard, he was still married to her. Still married. She was another. They were both the personalities, man. They were both funny. They were both tall. He was what, 6'4", I think? 6'4". Yeah, he was a tall guy. I know, and Steve, you were probably, there was one person, a first class at Boat Ops that did not like him. And he was the same weight as us. I don't know why. He never told, I asked him one time, he never told me. He didn't, I think because Steve was such a smart ass. He was such a smart ass. But, you know, like I said, I didn't run that shop, man. That shop ran on its own. Everybody, you know, it was like a, I was just the guy they blamed if something went wrong, that's all. And nothing ever really went wrong. Hey, I miss all the guys though. John LaBelle, McCoy, Mick. Remember Mick? I wonder if he ever married that girl. He got a girl pregnant. They were still together. He didn't get her pregnant and would take off, but he got a girl pregnant. I wonder if he married her. I know he named his daughter Crystal. His daughter, yeah, he had a little girl named Crystal. Then we had another guy there, John L. Man, he got a bad rap. He got a bad. So he was a good guy too, but he got screwed. And Steve knows what I'm talking about. He got screwed bad. John L. Then who else do we have? There was another kid there. I can't remember his name, but he was a wrestler. I can't remember. No, I want to say Fisher, but I don't think that was his name. Then Tackett was a first class. He was a master at arms, but he was funny. He lives in California, I believe. He was a trip. Tackett. See, when you get to this age, man, you start thinking about things in the past, man. And sometimes you laugh, and sometimes you just shake your head. Yeah, hey Steve, remember the Harmony and the the Harmony and the Halfway. You know what I'm talking about. And Legends. Legends. What was that? What was the place called at Automatic? I can't remember the name of that. Alright, hey, we'll let you go. If you got this far in the video, thanks for listening. Y'all be good to yourself, be good to each other. And Brian over here is looking real sexy right now. I'm just messing with him. That's Miles' son, oldest son. Well, the only son.
The youngest.
The youngest? No, he's the oldest son. 'Cause you don't have any other sons, right? You have another son somewhere you need to be telling us about? Huh?
No.
No, you got 3 kids, right?
Yep.
You got Brian,
Yeah.
you got Joy,
Yeah.
and you got Diane.
Yeah.
You sure? You don't have no others that you don't know about?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Where? Where?
What?
Never mind. Alright, hey, I'll talk to you all later. You be good to yourself, be good to each other. Have a great day. Bye. You gonna say bye? Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
Bye-bye.